Good evening, podcast listeners and viewers, I guess. Welcome to another episode of Sloss and Humphries on the road, where we are currently on the road in Offenbach, Germany. It's just Frankfurt. It's on the outskirts of Frankfurt, but because the theatre is in Offenbach, you can't walk on stage and be like, "Oh, hello, Frankfurt," because they'll get, you know what they're like when they get angry. Anyway, today we talk a little bit about life on the road, what we've been up to for the past couple of days. We then get political for a bit. What did we talk about at the start?
I didn't go to the Fringe.
Oh, yeah. We just talk about how disgusting we used to be on the sesh during the Fringe, now that we're both sort of past our best and mature enough to realise that what we probably did back then was dangerous, stupid, and now with rose-tinted glasses, a hell of a lot of fun and cooler than what anyone else did. The fucking losers. So, enjoy. Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and Cream, Cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
And that's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clip.
For anyone who is choosing to watch this podcast on the video, how do they do that? Is it just on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. This is a public one, so it'll be on YouTube.
So this is just on YouTube?
Yeah.
Right, anyone watching it on this, place your bets now if you're watching with a loved one for how far into this podcast I spill red wine on this brand new white shirt, because I won't mean to do it. I've never in my life intentionally spilled something on my shirt or on my face, despite how much Cara acts like I do it on purpose.
I hate that. I hate that when me lass thinks I've done the thing that she's annoyed by to offend her. Like, oh, you've got something in your teeth. Like, as if I put it there. As if I put it there and smiled at her. Like, look at this bit of flaxseed in my teeth.
I often think it's just this, especially for Natalie, and it's just this moment where you just go, oh, so this is who I'm with forever. Like, there's so many times you go, oh, this is the one. I'm so lucky I get this person. And then there's the other moments where you're like, I guess that I just have to live with this for the rest of time or until they die.
Just live around it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the other stuff. Like, there's so many moments where she's going, oh, and you think we've got a caricature of you. Like, you knew I set the coffee machine away without a cup in.
I mean, we don't have a caricature of you. Our impression of you is based off all the evidence we have received from you in our collective 20 years of knowing you.
Way more.
Yeah.
But 23 years. I say way more.
I'm doing most of the fucking heavy lifting in that.
I've known you for 3 years longer than Natalie.
Is that it? 3?
I met her in 2012 and you in 2009.
That sounds believable.
There you go. We are currently in Offenbach doing a podcast. Oh,
it says just say Frankfurt.
Frankfurt.
It's Frankfurt.
Is it?
No, it's not, but it's Frankfurt. Like, it's, everyone who's coming to the show tonight will be from Frankfurt.
Nobody does as many podcasts as we do in different countries. We're changing the game. I don't even think any English-speaking comedians have done a podcast out of Offenbach before.
I'm going to be honest with you, it's been real devastating to do 7 sold-out shows in Europe when I could have done 7 shows at the Frog and Bucket. I just, my career, it's never been done before. There's a reason!
I've had 8 wanks in one day before, never been done. I bet it has. Like, I bet that's done.
I've done that. I did that. I've done that this tour.
I was going to say, I didn't think I said that as a lie, thinking it was an exaggeration. I think the most I've had in one day is probably 3. And it's like, the amount of times I've done that is easily single figures.
Hold on, the most you've wanked in a day is 3.
And I've rarely done that. And like, I think the majority...
We have nothing in common.
You know what? I like to save it up a bit.
Oh, for who? For you?
I just think it's a better feeling when you've got more in the bank. If you're just tossing yourself off all the time, it's just like... Ugh.
Yeah, that's what I'm there for, man.
But I quite like the...
Like you're getting in a jacuzzi.
oh, here it comes. Oh, here come the drums. Like, you know, when your pill kicks in. It's exactly like that, you know, when your fucking pill kicks in, you haven't had one for ages, or your first one, right? And it's like fucking banging from the minute it starts kicking in all the way. But then, like, you know, when you're in Benidorm and you're on your 5th day in a row having pills and you're like, ugh, why am I even doing this?
Yeah, but to me, there's nothing matter. You know, I just wank to get it out of the way. Sometimes I have a wank to see if that's what was wrong with me. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm a big fucking grumpy boy today, and I have a wank, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm absolutely fine. I was just having a little...
I sometimes do it just so like I can just get on with my day. It is like they're just like you're trying to do stuff and you get so much more done if you didn't have a libido.
It's so hard to explain to Cara that so many times there is absolutely nothing sexual about masturbating. I'm just like, she's like, did you have a wank today? I'm like, I have a wank every day. Like, I'm not all my loads are for you. It's not all good stuff. Like, just because I'm having a wank doesn't mean I have the energy to fuck you. I'm just getting this out the way.
I've been doing that Wim Hof cold shower thing.
Oh, aye.
And I'd done it the day, and I was like quite vocal about it, forgetting that we had adjacent room to you. And I just imagine you could just hear me through the door going, oh boy, oh boy. I was trying to be like quite comical with the way I was using my heavy breaths.
Aye.
And I was like, if he's listening to that, he's like, oh my God, he's wanking at Disney Plus. He's got the cartoons on.
Is that Wim Hof where he's trying to teach you about, he's like, oh, it's, you know, you got to do these big breaths. I've done a bit of it before, and one thing I will say is the way he gets you to fucking hyperventilate and then breathe out and genuinely be able to hold your breath with empty lungs. I think I got to 75 seconds once, and I was like, oh my God, like, I'm impressed by me. But then the other thing is like, and you can feel your body's natural high after all this. You're like, motherfucker, I've done NOS. I know what you're doing. Like, this isn't me connecting to the ground or connecting to spirits. You've just stopped a certain amount of blood flow and oxygen to my brain, and I'm tripping balls. Don't get me wrong. Thank you. That was class. I enjoyed it. But
I didn't have to feel like a smackhead with a fucking tin of, what is it that they use? It's from foam and cream, isn't it? Aye. For making whipped cream.
Aye. Do you not remember? I mean, that's a dangerous one, the NOS gas. I remember getting like slightly addicted to that. Not addicted in the sense that like I would go out and buy all the time, but like whenever we were having house parties, you'd buy like 3 cases of the canisters, and then everyone does a bunch through the night, and then the next day when everyone fucked off and left me to clean my own house, once I'd done it as a reward, there would be you'd find like 7 lying around under things that people have dropped, and it's one of the ones which I think is really bad for addiction because
I can hear people outside, but
I think it's real bad for addiction because it's one of those ones where when you're on it, it feels so good, and it feels like, I always remember having this feeling of clarity, like while in this thing, like oh my God, I've worked out the secrets, or
you had an epiphany.
You have an epiphany,
and then you come back to earth and you feel like the epiphany's gone, and the only way to get it back is to dive back in.
Exactly.
And you're like, I'm going to grab it this time.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's so slippery.
And then you go out again and you have the same sort of thing. And I'm pretty sure, I don't remember because obviously it fucks off, but I'm pretty sure the epiphany every time is, you're a drug addict. And I come and I'm like, oh my God, I am. And I'll just stop when I come, oh.
What was I just thinking again?
Well, I guess I'll have to find out what it was.
There's another one. I don't think I've done balloons on my own before.
Oh, I have, and it was. I was like, this is drug addicty shit. And I had a friend of mine who will remain nameless, who got legit like addicted to them, who was going through a bad part of his life, and he told me that he once did 2 boxes of like 24 canisters in a day just to himself, and I'm like, that might have done permanent damage, and he was like, maybe.
It's a dangerous thing, that I think. Steve-O talks about it in his book as well.
Aye.
Speaking of which, we watched Jackass last night.
Yeah,
I love those boys, mate. Like, man,
I love Jackass so much. And look, whatever your criticisms of Jackass is, yes, I agree with you, and I'm still going to enjoy it.
It's toxic masculinity used for entertainment. Now, fucking They've channeled it well. You know, there's worse ways.
Ryan Dunn was our Diana. I keep saying this, and I mean it 100%. It was way sadder when Ryan Dunn died than Princess Diana. Call me Weve. Now, was he drunk and speeding, and did he deserve it in that sense? Well, nobody deserves to die.
Did you hear that Paul Gascoigne interview where he was talking about, he's in his 50s doing the interview, and he talks about, it must have been Italia 90 or something, right? And he's like, Diana come on the pitch and she shook all our hands, and it's the first time I've ever had to play with a hard on.
That's only because he's been on coke the whole time.
I've never done coke. Oh no, I was going to say I've never done coke alone, but there was that time when my friends had an argument. Our friends, I'll not name them, and we ended up back at my gaff, and I was so sick of that argument that I joined in.
Oh, I know who we're talking about.
I was so tired of listening to that argument that I'd just been sat quietly listening to it enough, and I was like, right, I'm going to do a better job in this argument than both of those.
All right. Also, if you're going to argue in my house and keep me awake, like, allow me to be judge, Judy, judge, jury, and judge executioner.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
So the argument was, right, it was, she ran events and he'd done coke at one of her events. Mm-hmm. And she was like, you fucking doing coke at my event? You're a fucking arsehole, mate. He done it like discreetly and that, like, and I'd done it.
Yeah, he wasn't doing it like on the table in the middle of the event. I assume he had gone to the bathroom.
Well, we're in like a booth that was kind of tucked away from everybody else, and he kind of done it behind me back. Mm-hmm. So in the bathroom would have been more obvious. We kind of weighed up our options, right? And she had coke as well, but she obviously like she was sat at our table, so she saw him do it. It was bad, right? He shouldn't have done it. She had a point.
Yeah.
And she was just fucking like giving him hell the whole, like, just the fucking night spun out, right? And then in the house, I just had this fucking penny drop that I had done the stand gig, it'd be solo show, and she was doing coke in the audience like a week ago. And I just stopped and just went, yeah, man, what's your name? You done coke at my work last week?
Yeah, but our
Raining in.
Aye, but our job's not.
Well, anyway, I'm here to tell you that joining in on that argument didn't go well for me.
I'm not shocked nor surprised. I can't imagine. That would be my idea of hell, is like if I was with two friends who were having an argument with each other and they were like, what do you think? And be like, oh, I can save you this.
Oh, nobody asked us what I thought. Nobody asked. Everyone at the party was stunned that I just joined in.
Oh wait, so they were yelling in like the corner of the room and you just did a line of coke and was like, all right, let me...
It was one of them like atmosphere vacuum arguments that was just ongoing. And there was about like 8 were, right? So they're like a quarter of the contingent. And,
and you were like, look, I've heard you both fuck and I know you both know how to fake orgasms. Can you fake civility for 20 minutes, please?
Yes. So... like everyone ended up fucking. It dispersed. People went home. Natalie and the girl went into my room, and I was left with Matthew Canning. Fuck. What?
You stupid, unbelievable cunt. 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Unbelievable.
So he goes through as well, and I was like, I'm just on my own at this New Year party now. Fucking put Match of the Day on iPlayer.
Yeah.
And I looked out at the table and everybody's coke was on the table. And I was like, I'm going to tan all of that. If they want to have that little pyjama party and leave me in the fucking late, yeah, I'm
going to have my fucking gym party.
I'm going to watch Match of the Day without blinking. And I'm telling you this, I had myself a good time.
Yeah.
I had a good time, aye. I think that's the only time I've done coke alone. I'll do weed alone all the time.
Yeah, no, weed's a different fucking beast. I've done coke alone. I think like during the fringes when we were disgraceful animals.
Aye. Oh yeah, like if you end of the sesh, like when everyone else has gone to bed.
No, but I mean like I would like you'd wake up and you'd be so fucking hungover that you'd go drink like a pint of fucking fruit juice. Just to get that you're like, well, I could drink water, but if I drink orange juice, I assume there's minerals or vitamins in there that, you know, my body needs. Get that down you. Your stomach's full. You can't really eat anymore. You don't have the energy. And then you walk back up. Because we had this fucking, I mean, my mum will hate this episode of the podcast, but let's be real. We had a couple of Edinburgh Fringes where we knew a pretty big dealer. And he was basically just said to us, he was like, look, need to sell a whole bunch of gear during the festival.
You guys know everybody.
Yeah, can you just make the introductions and, you know, take us to the right places? And we were like, yeah, all right. And he was like, for every 5 grams I sell, because, you know, just so people...
Of contacts I made for you guys.
I'll give you a free gram.
And we were an arts festival and new comedians.
Oh. There would be days where...
That was more free coke than we knew what to do with it. I mean, we knew what to do with it and we did that.
Man, we used to... Like, I remember because you were staying with us during the Fringe. You were staying with me during the Fringe. And, like, this was fucking back in the...
It was like 2015-ish, wasn't it?
This was when this was the Garscube house. So it was just party fucking central. We were animals. We came back.
We had like a friend stay with us and go toe to toe with us for a day, and I ended up in the shed with him, like having a spliff and keeping the party going, and his nose just bust open out of his shit. He just tripped in. I was like, oh my God, that's who we are.
Yeah. Every day when I would leave for the show, because I would walk to the EICC, which is about 1.5 miles away, but I was just like, this is the only exercise I'm going to get during this festival. I would always check my tiny little jeans pocket, and I'd get the bag of coke out, the residue from last night, and I'd go, no, I'm not even going to tempt myself with it tonight. I need a night off. And I'd put it on the fucking shelf and walk out the door and walk to the EICC. You go on stage, you have a nice gig. There is no coming down from that. You can't just go straight home, because if you go straight home, you know, you're just going to be... It's not like doing coke, but you're going to be up for at least 3 fucking hours. So you're like, I'll go chill, I'll go decompress with other people. And then we'd walk into one of the artist bars, and he'd come up and he'd go, sold 10 today, and then put 2 bags in your pocket. And you're just like, no, this is bad.
We're like sharing it with my pals to try and thin it out.
Oh. And then that was the festival. What I hope we're not throwing too many people under the bus here. At the end of the festival, you, me, Gav, and Sir Nicholas Cody, back at ours, and at 5 a.m, Natalie and one of the other girls who I was seeing at the time went downstairs, and we were like, we're just going to stay up and just play like a little bit more FIFA.
Hold on, just for the mental picture they're drawing. Downstairs was the bedroom, upstairs was the living room.
Yeah.
It was a subterranean house.
My old house was basically, the people who owned it converted their garage and their basement into a house. And I mean, it wasn't like a garage, it was like more like a conservatory type thing. It was
the annex of a mansion, but it was a 3-bedroom.
Yeah. But it was all
2 living room
underground. Yeah. So... And by the way, when you knew you'd fucked up during the Fringe when you see the sun in the sky and birds tweeting.
The birds come out and you're like, oh, you guys again.
Yeah.
You never sleep.
Yeah.
Coming from me.
The girls go downstairs and we're like, we're just going to play a couple more games of FIFA. And then about an hour and a half later, they come back up. This is the end of the festival, and this is where we've basically all the little bags that I've said not today, Satan, and left on that shelf, and you've done the exact same for the entire festival, because this is the last night of the festival. We're sat there with heaps of grams. And we're like, all right,
well, they're like, okay, today, Satan.
Yep.
It was that day.
The girls come back up after 90 minutes, and me, you and Nick are like, oh, sorry, were we getting a bit too loud just with playing FIFA? And they were like, it's 2 p.m. And they'd had a full 8 hours sleep.
Fuck. Oh, we've had some bad ones. I had that one. Mind that one where Natalie had missed the last train and she had work in the morning. And I was like, well, it's all right. I'll just drive you to work in the morning to Glasgow. And then fucking I ended up forgetting about that, hanging one on. And then she comes up and we're like, you're meant to be giving me a lift to Glasgow. And I was like, Well, I'm still on it.
Aye. So jump on my back and I'll run you there.
I mean, basically, she drove my car because she was sober, and I had to just nap it out in the car before driving back to the Fringe.
Oh, I'm glad those years are behind us.
Aye.
But, you know, we did them.
Aye, seen it, done it.
Yeah, and I hope whoever the younger generation of comics is this festival, because it's the one back, it's your responsibility to go out and get fucking maggot and get fucked and be insane. Don't be one of these fucking losers, and they are losers, who takes the Fringe 100% seriously. If you take the Fringe 100% seriously, that is so unbelievably disrespectful to all the comedians up there just trying to have a fucking good time. And look at you, you fucking try hard with your wee fucking suit and your shiny fucking shoes. Fuck off. Slow down, remember you're a fucking clown, and act like it.
It's like, you know, when we did the comedians boxing,
yeah,
there was some people like trained really hard because they wanted to win. Gavin Webster and Mark Nelson just went, look, if none of us train, it's even. It's a level playing field if you drink right up until the fight.
Yeah, yeah. Because look, but the thing as well with the Fringe is you're always, regardless of what you do, regardless of how you do the festival, you're always going to go through the same emotions that everyone else goes through. You're going to either have a good first couple of days, or a bad first couple of days, and that's really going to affect your next week, and then it will sort of do the opposite. So if you have a bad first week, you'll have a good second week, and if you have a great first week, you'll get overconfident and your second one will go down. And then, I say second week, I mean after the previews. And then your first week, it'll sort of level out. The second week will be good. The third week will drop down. And the fourth will be hell on earth. Doesn't matter how you do it. You can go to the gym every fucking day.
You can get a second wind in the last week because, like, it starts, like, everybody realises the fucking Fringe is on and the end's in sight. So people descend on the Fringe and you get loads of guests. It's like, I guess the last mile of a marathon isn't as hard as the 20th mile of a marathon.
Yeah, because you've got people there cheering you across the finish line. Your experience of the festival, the emotions you're going to experience are all of them, and there's whether you are sober and going to the gym every day and having lovely times with your family, or whether you're being a fucking sesh head for the full month, you're still experiencing the same emotions the entire time. You're just going to react more poorly.
You know what would be difficult for an overthinker that really tries hard at the Fringe, right? If they fucking do the whole get up at 7, run up off a seat, have a smoothie, right, and fucking live that life, and then, like, they turn up and they've got, like, 16 tickets sold or whatever, right, and they're like, fuck, I'm doing everything I can. They're working hard, I've got no disrespect for them, but it must be brutal for them watching you fucking session the whole time and fucking filling out the AICC. That must be some serious fucking, like, how the fuck? Hey, seen that picture, the sketch from Harry Enfield and Chums, where there's a guy on the horse and he's gunning the horse and he's whipping it and he's like really fucking tucked in, and then Harry Enfield just pulls up side saddle on the horse and just goes, "Hi, sir." That's the race going for you.
I hope so.
It'd be brutal. At least if you gun hard and you just party the whole time and have a good time, then the times when your numbers are low or the gig doesn't go well, you've like already got an inbuilt excuse.
Well,
if you graft all the way through it and you ever have a bad gig or your numbers are low, the only reason it could have went bad is you're shite.
Yeah. Where's the other excuses?
Mate, get yourself a little back catalogue of fucking excuses to just go, that one was on me.
The danger with it is, and this is 100% of the reason why I am slowly descending into an alcoholic, is when you learn how fucked you can be on stage and get away with it and still have a good show. Like, I know we've told the story before, but I remember that time you, me and Steele did acid.
Yes.
On the second last night. And didn't sleep and just had a fucking nightmare 24 hours until the gig.
Me and Elliot went to each other's shows.
Yeah,
because we're near each other back to back, so we went to each other's shows. And I remember there was a point at Moss Kitchen, we're getting some food and we couldn't eat it. We're just pushing it onto our plates, and we both give up on our dinner, right? And we just had our heads on our hands. He's about to go on in like 45 minutes. I've got like about 2 hours before I'm on. Our heads are on our hands. We're fucking hanging. And then I was like, this is the day the awards came out, Elliot. Everyone's going to look at us and think we're taking it really badly. Oh, I guess those two didn't get nominated, did they?
Well, I mean, Elliot's the other, good example of what we're saying isn't always the best advice, because he definitely too early, and he'll openly admit to himself this isn't a fucking slam on our boy. He'll be the first person to admit this, but that boy done fucked up at least one Edinburgh festival when he was just like, I'm on it all the time. Fuck the plaudits.
And we were like, dude, this is your first festival and we've got like 5 or 6 in the bank.
Yeah, like we can act this way because we've built up to it. I've got an audience every day. I know I'm sold out for like the next 6, and
I'm really comfortable in an hour.
Yeah, and I've done it a bunch of times. Yeah, whereas this is your first one, and he was like, stop being a fucking pussy and pass me that bag, and I'm like, hey, it's my boy.
And then we went to watch him and he'd done 37 minutes on a 1-hour show. His last joke was a callback to a joke that he hadn't done.
Oh, little fucking idiot. Do you think we've been good for him?
No.
Right, okay.
I don't as a comic guy, as a person.
Are they different answers?
Yeah.
All right, then go. But I'll accept answers to both then.
I think as a comic, we might have slowed him down at the start, but he's got the hang of it now, and he's really found his voice now.
Oh,
he might have found it sooner. But saying that, no, I was just going to say because he would have been able to he wouldn't have had the bad influence of like us leading him astray.
Aye, but he would have had the bad influence of his fucking agent pushing him down through a fucking rabbit hole, or pigeonhole. Sorry, they wouldn't have fit.
Yeah, so he would have been like a clean cut suit and tie.
Aye.
I'm Mark Steele's son. It's a USP.
Aye.
Whereas now he's like a bit of a reprobate and he's all in that. And
but he's himself, and that's the reason why he's funny. Is because he's not pretending to be anyone else on stage.
Yeah, I reckon you're right. I reckon the kind of the same answer, because as a person we steered him really well,
as well as we could. That's also not true.
By way of bullying.
Yeah.
Whenever I done something that like we didn't like, we picked on him for it. Yeah. And
for those of you being like, oh, what, you talked him out of doing art? No, we stopped him wearing neckerchiefs. Like it was just stuff where we're like, buddy, that's not, I know you're looking for your personality, but that's not it. That's just you you're peacocking. Stop that.
When we told him to stop wearing eyeliner, like I wouldn't have told Carl Donnelly to stop wearing eyeliner. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, you do you, Carl, that is you. When I see Elliot Steele do it, I'm like, are you doing that because Carl did it?
Aye. Well, speaking of that, what definite things like that have you done? Apart, I mean, obviously yours is like the fucking bleach blonde hair you used to do. We've discussed that.
What have I done that
when you look back, if I could give you a time machine, right? But I can't send you back to kill Hitler. I can't send you back to kill Elon Musk. I can't send you back to any of these things. But what I can do is send you back in time to kick the shit out of yourself before you make a decision.
I've got it.
Right.
I went shopping before night out when I was like 19.
Yeah.
And I bought a long sleeve t-shirt for the night out. Mm-hmm. And it had 4 words. It had 4 words written in bold.
4 words.
Front.
Eat, sleep, rave, repeat.
Right. It was a white t-shirt with like blue sleeves. And it had nothing on but the words in blue. Brits do it best.
Oh, can I come back with you in the time machine?
I had a Brits do it best top, and I went out in town with Brits do it best top.
In Britain.
Know your audience. Know your audience.
You might as well wear a shirt just to be like, aren't we all cool? Speaking of which, did anyone at home enjoy the pedo breeder celebration? The National Pedo Breeding Celebration?
It's you know what? I'm not mad enough for breeding a pedo, right? Because I think I'm mad enough for harbouring one. Mm-hmm. I think that would be brutal for any mother to find out that kid
that they raised a fucking nonce.
diddler. Because it's probably no to do with the way they raised them.
Absolute fucking horseshit. Right, you're telling me the
Yeah,
reason... No way, man.
I just think it's like
the
a
reason he fucks kids is because he grew up in a castle without consequences. And they were like, here's other people that get away with evil shit. And because the media doesn't exist and the internet doesn't exist in the way capacity it is now, you're just going to get away with shit. Because before this, people got away with evil shit for years. It's been in our family for hundreds of fucking years. And you know, because you've met this old racist cunt, this other fucking piece of shit, and we're just leeches. So you can get away with everyone. Of course. She not only harboured it, she fucking nurtured it in him.
I do believe it in this case because that is a man, it was a 17-year-old lassie, so probably wouldn't have even getting done for that. It was the fact she was fucking human trafficked. It was the fact that it was one of Epstein's fucking paid for girls.
One of the women brave enough to call him out on it. You don't go to Epstein's island 17 times and fuck one kid.
He's a sex offender and she harboured him. I'm mad at that.
He's a fucking nonce.
I'm mad at her for harbouring a sex offender. Is what I'm mad at for. I think breeding a nonce. I hate to sound like a lefty from the future here, but like, how do you know that like somebody could, like there could be somebody that has paedophilic thoughts that's a nice guy that just turns himself in or kills himself? Like how do you know like a lot of suicides aren't attributed to the person just dealing with them demons the whole fucking time, so they just neck their cell and everyone's like, you seem so happy, and you're like, he wanted to fuck kids but he didn't, so he killed himself. Right? Probably an unpopular opinion.
But fair enough. But no, that's a popular opinion. If Prince Andrew were to fucking kill himself, like we'd all fucking love it if he just fucking necked him. I mean, I don't know how he'd get a fucking rope to go around the jowls. Like I just feel like, have you seen that in X-Men 2 where the cunt half turns into a jellyfish and then manages to push himself through the bars? That's what would happen if Prince Andrew tried to fucking hang himself.
His head would just kind of like an octopus.
Oh no, I'm free. I've got to fuck more children. And look, just because the one person being 17 years old, that island was fucking, he was there repeatedly. He was very good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. I think the youngest one we've got, another person came forward, was 50 years old. He's a full-blown fucking nut. He might not fuck babies, but he fucked kids.
Like his mother should have seen the bigger picture and not only distanced herself but turned him in. You know what I mean? Like it's not just about your PR with the fucking public of your nation, your great nation. It's not just that. It's the doing the right thing of getting him off the fucking streets. It's the do the right thing. Like I think if a mother like breeds a pedo and then finds out he's a pedo, she should fucking turn him in.
Yep.
It's your obligation. Right?
And if you don't do that, you don't get a fucking street party, you old cow.
And it's so strange for me, you know. It's all happening in the UK. Obviously, it's not a global party that's happening. It's just the UK. We're getting to look in through the window while we're in Europe, and it just looks weird. You know, we're in Europe now, looking in, and you just get to see it from the other side, going, look at them.
I think it's the most...
Look at them mad bastards.
The most pathetic thing in the fucking world.
It's so pathetic.
It's like to actually... So fuck your arguments about it being for community. Fuck your arguments.
Tourist money.
No. None of that's fucking true.
Fuck it all.
Like it's none of that. There are other ways to do that. People don't just come to the UK to see the fucking building. By the way, if the Queen didn't live in the building, they'd still fucking come. Right?
You know what?
That's what history is. I'm not going to the Colosseum in Rome to see the fights taking place. That's what fucking history is, you stupid piece of shit.
You didn't want to see the lions eating Christians?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, I definitely do.
You know what it looks like from if you can disconnect yourself from it enough, which it's easier for us to do being like in a different country watching it happen. It's like when you watch a documentary about furries.
100%.
And you go,
and you're like, everyone in that video needs to be shot dead. I don't know what crime I don't know what crime that is, but it's definitely a crime, or it's the first step to worse things.
It looks like it's born of mental illness.
It's the closest and the most disgusting example of when we're close to, and when I say we, I mean you and your lot, when they're closest to Americans. When it's like, you know, we all look down our noses and be like, imagine singing, your national anthem before every event, every public event, and like every day in school, these American children have to stand up at the start of every day in every school in America. They have to stand up and pledge allegiance to the flag, indoctrinated from the ages of 4 years old. We look down and be like, oh, and look at them with their fucking gun culture, and they're not going to get rid of anything because.
Where do you think they got that from? They got that from us.
Oh, well, I mean, we never had the gun culture, wasn't us?
No, I meant the indoctrination.
Yeah. And, you know, that sort of shit. And then you've just got people out there wearing their fucking Union Jack hats, their Union Jack things, singing God Save the Mother of a Pedo with 100% sincerity. Big fat gammon cunts, greatest country on the earth. Ugh.
Brits do it best.
Ugh.
Aye. It's backwards.
It's disgusting. It's like, man...
It's really backwards. She done this sketch with Paddington Bear. Oh. And Paddington Bear drank out of a teapot and fucking she got a sandwich out of a bag and everyone was swooning. Everyone was like, oh, she's the best. Oh my God, the Queenie. She's such a good sport doing that. You're like, she did a fucking sketch. Man. Loads of cunts do sketches.
When she croaks...
Is it because she's above sketches and she lowered herself to doing a sketch? Is that why people think she's...
God came down and bestowed the chat. She's just like one of us. I would be like that. That fucking... It's that. Mm-hmm. It's people fucking revere her because they're a bunch of stamp cunts and she's on the money and you know, it's... which is fucking insane. That's insane. It's insane that... She's on the... That's what like fucking Nero and Caesar did. Put me on the money. It's me.
It's biggest belief. It's like, you know, I can kind of see why people would look at Nero and Caesar with that kind of fucking regard, right? Because if you get attacked from like Hannibal or the Vandals, right? It's gonna be their fucking armies that protect you from getting pillaged.
Aye. Whereas she had the fucking opportunity.
She's a fucking bookmark, not a bookmark, a fucking placeholder.
She had the opportunity
also
to when Boris Johnson was voted in Prime Minister. She had the opportunity to go, no, she has that power. She's never used her power for good or anything, to do anything.
If she occasionally used that power, it would be class. If somebody goes, my favourite moment of the Queen's reign is when she stepped in and made the government give the children free school meals during lockdown. Oh, wait a minute, that wasn't the Queen, that was Marcus Rashford.
Yep.
it was like she could have done that. Marcus Rashford had the power to do it. The Queen
absolutely
had absolute power to do it. So there's so many points where she could have come in and just went, had our government, everybody agrees, you're fucking up here.
She's never done it. When she fucking croaks, I'm going to have to stay off Instagram for a week and make sure that nobody close or any of... I think everyone in Scotland's just going to be like, everyone turn your phones off, because if they thought us reacting to the World Cup loss was bad... Oh, God. What a day. What a sad day it'll be. And the reason I'll have to be off Instagram for a week is because I'll just be morning, noon and night on the fucking sesh.
Oh, yeah, so this is... Patreon are going to get this in a minute.
Yeah.
Right? So bang on time for the verdict. But on Wednesday, the people listening to this, hi everyone in the cheap seats, they may be living in a country run by a different man to Boris Johnson, because a whole woman, because he's getting a vote of no confidence, or a vote of... Right, this is how I believe it to be. If enough MPs put in a letter of no confidence, a vote has to be made, and that vote has to be half of the Tory MPs who are seated have to vote whether they've got confidence in him or not. And if it's no confidence, he'll be forced to leave. Now...
and then another fucking Tory lying cunt gets in.
That's it. The vacuum the vacuum just creates a fucking space. Can I get a little bit political?
I mean...
To wrap it up, to bring it home.
Sure.
I don't think the vote's going to be based on whether that MP is confident or not. That vote is going to be based on what favours they can get from either Boris Johnson or the person who they think is going to get elected next. So they'll get promises, like 180 MPs will get promises from Boris Johnson that if you do this for my constituency, I'll give you the vote of confidence, right? And then he's going to have to fucking make all of these promises that either can't keep, or that if he does keep, it's going to mean that there's going to be a deficit from other funds, whether that be kids' meals, social services, NHS, right? Just so you can do favours for these MPs. I think it's going to be a vote of fucking political favours.
What do you think?
Regardless of how this vote goes, it's just going to tie up government money into promises with cronies, and it's just got what's already been a fucking terrible leadership is going to get worse because of this vote, regardless of how it turns out. Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
And the Tories will still win the next election because England is so not as bad as America, but I would say, and not as bad as Russia, and not as bad as North Korea, but on the list of countries that are completely and utterly lied to and indoctrinated by the right-wing media, we're in the top 10.
Aye.
Completely and utterly in the fucking top 10.
I think you hit the nail on the head on my way here when you were like, I want him to I want
Boris Johnson to absolutely, I'll have this on record. I want Boris Johnson to remain in fucking government.
But by a massive divide.
Yeah.
Win by like 1%.
Yeah.
So it's like, so he's the fucking leader of a sinking ship right now.
Yeah, and I hope he continues to do as good a job as he's done so far, which is one of the worst capable of doing it, because it will push Scotland farther and farther and farther fucking away. And if in my time, like, even though I know the world's going to end before I'm fucking 70 years old just because of global warming and war and blah, 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 even if that ends in 2070, if Scotland goes independent in 2069, nice, it will still be one of the greatest days of my fucking life.
And you know what I'm going to do if that does happen? I'm going to declare for Scotland. I'm going to go for Scottish citizenship.
Yeah.
Due to marriage, living there, the time served.
Oh, sweet, you'll be able to play for our football team. Still be one of the best.
And I'm gonna still support England in the football.
Aye. So, I mean, good luck to Boris Johnson today. Genuinely hope you manage to get through it. I hope you've promised the right people lies that you're not going to stick to. And I said
on Facebook today, if anybody still likes Boris Johnson, it's all on the table now. You can see who he is. Yeah. There's no other angle to look at it than the way it is anymore. So if anybody still likes him at this point, they are in an abusive relationship. Yeah. They fell in love with their abuser.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's the same psychology behind that. No, if you're still backing that guy.
It's the fucking...
Unless you're one of the fucking ones that's getting promises, which the majority of voters aren't.
I think it's cunts that fucking read The Sun and the Daily Mail and just fucking get it, you know.
Yeah.
They don't think they're abusive though. They're like, I can't understand why I'm getting poorer and things are getting worse. But it can't be this guy who's got the floppy hair on the front page of the news every day.
They're blaming the lefties, even though, like, you mean, your guys have been in for fucking 12, 13 years, man.
To get less political, we're in Nazi Germany, and the reason I say we're in Nazi Germany...
Do I need to censor that?
No.
Because is that not illegal to say here?
No, it's illegal to accuse somebody of being... I don't know if it's illegal to accuse somebody of being a Nazi. It's illegal to deny the Holocaust, which I will... Man, that should be the law in every country.
Aye.
Across the board. Mm. Like, that's where freedom of speech ends. Uh-huh. If you, with 100% sincerity... and you mean it, go against one of the worst things ever happened in the world, that's the line of where your free speech ends.
There is.
Because stupid cunts, because we live in a time when people are poorly fucking educated, because educated people know how to vote correctly, so it's within the interests of the people in power to make sure that the masses are not educated. And if you, from a position of power and knowledge, know that, you can say something that you know to be untrue, but will be believed by the masses, and you do that to build your own popularity and create conspiracy theories, that is where your free speech ends. That's the exact line. Where does it end? There. You deny the Holocaust, you're out of life. Yeah. That's it. In jail, gone. Go have that conversation with all those other cunts in there.
That's across the same line where if you go, hey, that child's sexy.
Yeah, it's all over. Like, it's all over. There's no further discussion.
You're in there now. It's hate speech. It's dangerous. It's a crime.
So I agree with that. I don't know if it's illegal to call No, I don't think it is illegal to accuse someone of being a Nazi. Oh, no, that was it. Legal to call them Nazi, but not legal to call them right-wing fascists.
Because there was a song that was released of someone calling them right-wing fascists.
And
the right-wing party, who was the equivalent to UKIP, tried to sue the band and got nowhere because they were like, You are right-wing fascists.
Yeah,
It's like it's illegal to call you a Nazi, but they didn't. There was no point in the song where they used the word Nazi.
So now you're just right with fascist. I was doing it for comedic purposes, but well done on correcting me, so we could have that discussion anyway, so people could understand the difference between irony and sincerity. Sincerity. Yes. These cunts in service stations where cars go past and go in to fill up, they and everyone in this fucking country, they charge you
70 cents
to go to the toilet.
to piss.
Not in the service station where they sell oil and gas, the most profitable things in the world. They charge you money. Like,
The food is marked up. Everything's marked up. Like you're not paying like discount prices. You're paying closed market prices because they know you've got nowhere else to go. So they're profiting like fuck from you just walking through that door.
Which is fine.
Let me have a piss.
Fucking let me piss. If you don't let me fucking piss for free, I'll piss on the fucking building. That's the deal. That's how this works.
I've never once hit the trough. I piss while windmilling me cock for 70 cents.
Like it's now one thing I will give the Germans credit for is, you know, they're not like what they would do in the UK, which is it's only coins. Oh, I've only got £1. Sorry, we only accept shillings. Nothing is updated. Here's a really inconvenient thing and zero solutions. Welcome to the United Kingdom. Because it's Germany, they're like, we know you've got a card, motherfucker. We know you've got a phone with all your bank cards on it, and we know you've got a wallet full of your bank cards. You can tap and get in. This isn't no skin off your nose.
Yeah.
We're not making you get money out. We're not making you do change.
Like when I was visiting my granddad in the hospital, it was like 80 pence for an hour of parking, right? And I was like, and you couldn't use card, and it didn't give change. And I was like, 80 pence is the hardest amount to get exact.
Yeah.
You need 3 coins minimum.
Yeah.
To get 80 pence.
Rotten fucking
And I would always, because I was pulling up like all the time, I was just like, every time I come here, they're robbing us by a bit.
I honestly think that's one of the most disgraceful
Charging
things.
to park near a hospital.
Oh, and it's not the hospital's fault. It's the government and the, like, you know,
Regulations,
yeah. When you underfund something and they're like, we have to get fucking money from everywhere. I don't think. I mean, hold on while I get my big fucking liberal hat on and wave my big liberal flag, so you all know I'm a progressive piece of shit. Every meal nurses and doctors eat while at work should be 100% free. All of their parking should be free.
Back while they're
Thank you so much. It's just, I'm just going to say things that, you know, it's not really popular to say these things right now, but I'm going to say it. Nurses are brave, and they deserve the parking, and they deserve to be free internet, and they deserve little licky outs whenever they.
Your microphone. Oh, it was my headphones. Karen.
Jesus.
Did I just derail you?
Oh well, I wasn't going anywhere.
Hold on, before my headphones cut out, were you saying that they deserve licking out?
Yeah, I think.
I'm sorry for derailing that rant.
I think if you're a nurse and you're having a rough fucking day, and you know you're stressed, but you know your shift doesn't end for fun, and if there's if we had it in the budget. You know, and there was just like a room full of horny teenagers, not teenagers of like Prince Andrew teenagers, but like
19.
19, 20, young. Like teenager may be wrong. Let's not. I'm
glad I derailed you actually. Look, if you're a nurse and you want to get molested by a barely legal teen.
I figured if you want young, handsome men or women to do you a sexual favour, you know, after you've just given somebody a prostate exam, I think it's your turn.
After you've sweated your minge off, I'll shift.
Aye. Who else is going to do it apart from a fucking horny 20-year-old? We'll need to, I didn't want to wrap up there or end on that, but we have to because...
I've got to be on stage in a second.
Aye. And for anyone watching at home, here's 15 seconds of radio silence so you can all applaud both of us for not getting any red wine on our shirts. No, let them clap.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Please, no, that was for you guys.
Yeah.
That was for you guys. Germany. all of the shows so far have been unfucking believably good.
I've liked them a lot.
We are so incredibly lucky to be able to do this. I can't believe it's like being a fucking rock star, man.
It really is like the fucking like even we hung around to say good like hello to everyone at the stage door, and then you come back through and there's just crews of people like unsetting the stage, like all working. You're like, we're a fucking operation now.
Yeah.
We're like a really big operation, and all we get a day is turn up and just talk with shite.
And people and the promoters who are doing such a good job, and the people who book it, like they look at it and like, you did this, and we're like, we turned up. And it's because the audiences are so great out here that you're just making us look class. You're making us look way bigger and way more successful than we actually are.
Changing the game.
It's never been done before. Except for about literally everyone who did it before. Yeah, I can, like off the top of my head, I can name 15 people who've done this before us.
Jimmy Carr's done it.
Russell Peters, Bill Burr, Louis C.K.
But we're changing the game.
So yeah, and also when I say Germany there, Prague, you were fucking great, and Switzerland, you have a lot to live up to because you are the last one on this tour.
Yeah, and don't go anywhere. We've got dad jokes.
Oh yeah.
We're doing dad jokes for you.
Your dad's diary has to be waterproof.
For his tears. His jizz.
Don't know.
Just how his life at sea. Your dad drinks his soft-boiled egg with a straw.
Sometimes at 3 a.m, your dad wakes up and tiptoes downstairs to gently open the garage door to see if he can catch his car in the act of being a transformer.
Just like
But annoyingly, he's only ever caught you and your brother kissing in the back.
Discovered. That was a Dave Longley joke, wasn't it?
What?
Dave Longley was like, my wife caught us wanking. Wait, court suggests I wasn't meant to be doing it. She discovered us wanking. Your dad had labia lips stitched to his actual lips, but no one's noticed yet because no one ever looks at him.
Your dad turned up at the polling station to give Boris Johnson his vote of confidence.
Your dad cycles his big wheel on the treadmill in the gym.
Do you mean like, well done, a big wheel penny farthing?
The big wheel's it's the kids one that has the pedals on the wheel. It's like a tricycle, but the pedals are on the wheel.
Isn't that what a penny farthing was?
No, penny farthing's got like a big wheel.
Yeah, but wasn't the pedals on the wheel though?
Oh yeah, but that's not what a big wheel is.
Right, okay, sorry.
Didn't I have penny farthings from your big wheels? You'd make a terrible...
Oh, coming from West Bubble Tea over here.
You'd make a terrible hipster.
And that's the one thing holding me back. Your dad got fired from the Samaritans for answering every phone call with, "Ugh, this cunt again."
I sung a lullaby to your dad in a fight and he was out cold before I threw a punch.
All right, Jigglypuff. That was her power.
Is that what the Pokemon? Is that a Pokemon Jigglypuff?
Yeah.
And that was their power.
All Jigglypuff would do. Oh, did you never play Pokemon Red or Blue?
You know what? It was a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Man, absolute nightmare. You go in, right? You got a Jigglypuff. You send out your big fucking Charizard. She gets the first move. She sings. Your cunt's just asleep. Oh, the worst. Just always imagine that.
Your Charizard's been a snoozing Susan.
I think you mean a Snorlax.
Right.
Your dad doesn't have a favourite grandchild because they're not old enough to fight yet.
Which means one of them is. If he did fight his other grandchild, he'd end up in juvie. It's like a 12-year-old versus a 1-year-old.
Aye. Until Gav teaches your niece everything he knows about
fighting off men.
No, I think in my head I was like, just Gav do MMA, and then I was like, oh no, Steads.
just Krav Maga. All right, cunts. Hey, if you're not on my Patreon, sign up. It's only £3 and you can listen to it on Thursday as well. How about that?
Aye, and you can find, or you can go back and listen to last Thursday's episode where we drunkenly talked through the Johnny Depp scenario.
I think that went down all right.
Did it?
Well, but you know which episode from the Patreon went down the best? If anybody wants to sign up to Patreon and like listen to one, there's a one called the Dog Fiasco. and it's only 40 minutes long, and we're pretty drunk, and we both tell the same story but from our own side.
Oh.
And it's two quite different stories that like come together as one.
So there you go. But if you still watch it for free, thanks for watching it for free.
Cheers.
You can pay us back by coming to see us on tour or telling your friends that you don't think we're shit. And don't forget that anything any other comedian has done, regardless of what evidence there is that they've done it before, we did it first.
It's never been done before.